Welcome to the reading of Turning 25 on my 52nd birthday. This is a story of my life right after my divorce as I grew into a new woman. Please comment any questions on the video below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe also. Thanks. Chapter 20. What a night that was. Veronica always wanted to try that. Only problem is now she wants to take it a step further. It was so amazing, but she could totally see how just taking it a little further would be even more perfect. She had to be grateful for having the experience. How fun. She thought about their sex the whole night and into the next morning. She was doing nothing but smiling. Rick texted her the next morning. His car wouldn't start and asked if she would give him a ride. And of course she said yes. She actually had the morning off anyway, so it was not an issue. She was so incredibly happy and even felt it was okay if they never had sex again. It was exactly what she needed. She went to pick him up at his house. He was waiting for her. How nice was that? Such a nice guy. The whole world to Veronica was rose-colored right now. He got in the car and they headed to his office. Veronica wasn't even paying attention to what he was saying. She was in her own wonderfully happy world. She had the night music on and smiling on the inside out. What a great feeling. She couldn't hold it back any longer. She needed to let Rick know how she felt. She had to share this wonderful feeling, and who else to share it with than the one who was in part of making her feel that. She told him about how she felt like her body and soul were set free, and how she felt like she was totally a different person. She also said that she has never felt this free. Almost like she was reborn. This was when she got the idea of getting her butterfly tattoo. She told him how cool that would be. He was kind and supportive. He tried to understand why, or at least seemed that way. He listened most of the time. She was becoming a new person, and she liked the person she was becoming. Veronica believed that he didn't quite understand, but how could he? She was married to a man she didn't love for 27 years. She hadn't enjoyed her sex life for almost that whole time. That was one thing about him being younger, that that there would be no way for him to understand it. It wasn't his fault or lack of sensitivity, but not being happy for 27 years for him didn't make any sense at all. Veronica had to be at work at 1 o'clock. She had a couple of hours before she needed to get to the office. The more the two of them talked, they decided to head back to the house so they could have a nice finish to the week. She was so excited. How fun would it be? She felt tingly between her legs. She loved this feeling. She hadn't felt like this in so long. And here they go again. They got to the house and, of course, as usual, didn't waste any time getting their clothes off. Her mouth went straight for him. She wanted it. She wanted that in her mouth. Man, just a perfect fit. She loved wrapping her tongue around him. It was just perfect. She could have him in her mouth all day. He pulled her up on the bed and entered her, not slowing and mercy, not showing any mercy. He was in hard and fast. Oh my God, it was powerful this time, so powerful. She felt like he was going deeper into her this time. It was amazing. He took her leg and put it on his shoulder, and then the other one. His eyes were either on her eyes were either on his or watching him go in and out her. What amazing sight. That is really what she wanted to record. His hardness going in and out. She soaked every bit of it in. She wanted to remember the feeling, the sight, everything. She was so glad she was sober. She was more sensitive physically and had better memory recall. He turned her over. She loved the way he controlled the sex. She knew if she asked for something, he would accommodate her. But it was so nice not being the one in control, not being the one to call all the shots. She was more than willing to let him do whatever he wanted. She would roll over in any position, any way. She was not fond of having him in her rear, or in her ass actually, but if that was what he wanted, he would get it. They finished. It was a little quicker, but that was okay. It was extremely pleasurable. He got up and took a shower. She got dressed. They got in her car and drove him to his office. They hugged, and she had such a good feeling, or such a sad feeling, but yet she was very happy. She just had an overall satisfied feeling. It was wonderful. This now was really the start of her new life. What she didn't realize was that there was going to be so many starts from here on out. She would do nothing but learn and grow. She drove to her office, finished the day with a smile on her face. When she drove home, she had a feeling that she wouldn't see him for a bit. She wanted to, but he had his kids often, especially with the holidays around the corner. She got home, poured a glass of wine, and sat on the couch and daydreamed about her last sexual encounters with Rick and smiled. This was probably the best time too. I mean, those 2 times back to back, finally she was feeling like she was getting close to him, because he finally was showing her that he would, you know, try to please her as well. So it was a very good time. And this is the butterfly thing was so true. After that night, she felt so free, and she felt like, I think it was because she totally allowed herself to be vulnerable sexually, and that made her open a whole new door to who she was. You know, God, I keep doing that. Who I am. It changed my life forever as far as seeing myself sexually. I am not very promiscuous in that sense, so there hasn't been a lot of encounters. There hasn't been any since him. But I do know that I am much more, I believe that I'll be able to be freer with myself and not worry as much about the way I look. I will allow myself to be somewhat vulnerable. Maybe not the first time with a new man, but I know I have it in me now. So that's an important thing for me, a really important thing. So that was chapter 20. Thanks.